What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you a coaster collection battle. And I have not done any kind of amusement park or roller coaster related battle in a long time. And this is the start of my new Six Flags versus Cedar Fair Best of Five series to see which amusement park chain has better coaster collections. And we're going to start out with Six Flags Great America versus Kings Island. Both of these parks are at the very top of the list. Not quite number one, but they are in that top tier of Six Flags slash Cedar Fair parks in their respective chains. And yeah, let's get started. This is going to be the scoring system. Every roller coaster, no matter how good, how bad they are, they're going to have a chance to score some points. It's not like one coaster is going to get more than the other. And this is my opinion on how I like these coasters out of 10 points. Like there may be a coaster you'd be like, I don't know, one ride I might say I have like a 6 out of 10 on it, while you might think it's a 5 out of 10, but that's just how it is. It's more of a little bit of opinion involved. But when I get into some parks that I haven't been to, then it's going to be a bit harder to make the ratings. But here it is. This is a bit of a test of quality versus quantity with the park. And the final category is going to be based on that quality over quantity. And it's going to be their score after all the coaster points are shown, and all those points divided by the amount of coasters in the park. That's going to make the overall average coaster rating, and I'm going to be rounding to the nearest half just to make things a bit easier. First, we got the small wooden coasters. This is Little Dipper versus Woodstock Express, and both these coasters are pretty okay. Nothing really wrong about them, but nothing that stands out whatsoever. They're okay rides. Kings Island and Great America are tied at 5. Next, we have two Vekoma Kid Coasters, Spacely Sprocket Rockets versus Flying Ace Aerial Chase. And I know a lot of people really hate the Flying Ace Aerial Chase clones, as they are Vekoma Hang and Bang coasters, is what a lot of people call them. But for me, I did not mind this coaster when I rode it. And Spacely Sprocket Rockets has always been a decent ride. So I'm giving both coasters 5 points each, and it's now still tied at 10-10. Now we have some unique family coasters, the Whizzer and the Bat. The Whizzer is pretty cool as it uses the terrain, has a spiral lift hill, and has some pretty cool helixes and a very weird but unique shallow drop. While the Bat is a very intense aerodynamic suspended coaster that flies through the terrain, but it's not that long of a ride. And both are really solid, but I will give the Bat the slight edge over the Whizzer. Great America is now down by half a point. Now we have dueling coasters, American Eagle versus Racer. Both of these coasters are a lot of fun. They're really solid. Racer is a lot better than it used to be, but American Eagle I still prefer over it because it's a bit larger and faster and a bit of a stronger layout in my opinion. So I will give the edge to American Eagle, and now Great America is in the lead, 23.5-23. Common family coasters. This is a Wild Mouse versus a Aerodynamics Mine Train. The Dark Knight versus Adventure Express. The Dark Knight is an okay coaster, but its second half is really jerky, so that's why it bumps it down to a 6 out of 10, while Adventure Express is a really solid family coaster, giving it a 7 out of 10. Kings Island is now in the lead by half a point, 30-29.5. Next, we have shuttle coasters, V2 and Invertigo. V2 is a pretty cool intimate impulse coaster. It's really good. I give it an 8 out of 10, while Invertigo isn't quite as good, but it is fairly intense. And it's a decent coaster, so I will give it a 7 out of 10. Now, Great America is back in the lead over Kings Island. Now we got large launch coasters, Max Force and Flight of Fear. And Max Force is just absolutely phenomenal, glossy smooth, intense, It has the full package except for the duration, so that's why I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. And Flight of Fear, it has a really solid launch, but it's nothing close to what Max Force's launch is, even though it does have a longer ride time. And I'm not really the biggest fan of the coaster. It's a bit jerky, in my opinion, and that's why it only will get a 6 out of 10 for Kings Island. Now, Great America is pulling ahead by 4 points. Moderate wooden coasters, Viper versus Mystic Timbers, and Mystic Timbers is a lot better than Viper, even though nothing against Viper. It's a solid ride, but Mystic Timbers is way more unique. It's not a clone. It goes through the terrain compared to Viper, which is on a flat surface. So I'm giving the edge to Mystic Timbers. Kings Island only down by 2. Large wooden coasters, Goliath versus the Beast, and Kings Island, I prefer the Beast over Goliath because Goliath is really, really short, but it's excellent despite that. And the Beast is just one unique, amazing coaster, and the closing double helix is very intense. It's awesome, and it's just a really cool coaster. And Kings Island is continuing to inch closer to Great America. Now we have hyper coasters, Raging Bull versus Diamondback. Both are excellent coasters, flawless in my opinion. They're both loaded with size, speed, length, airtime, basically the full package. And both these coasters will get a 10 out of 10. Next are inverted coasters, Batman the Ride versus Banshee, and both these coasters I equally like. I used to prefer Banshee a lot more than Batman the Ride, but now after more rides on Batman the Ride and Banshee, I have now reflected, and I prefer Batman the Ride because I'm not as big of a fan of the vest restraints, and it's a bit more intense. While Banshee, it has a very unique, drawn-out layout, and it's really fun. I like these coasters about the same. One I may prefer over the other depending on the day. But still, Great America is only up by 1.5 points still, despite all of the changes. Now we have some extra coasters, and these will now factor in. Great America has a classic Aero looping coaster in the Demon. They have a 4D coaster in Joker, a wing coaster in X-Flight, and a really nice cloned flying coaster in Superman Ultimate Flight, which will give Great America 111.5 points, while Kings Island has an awesome Giga coaster in Orion, along with a smaller Great Pumpkin coaster and Backlot Stunt coaster, which is a really solid family launch coaster. Great America has pulled ahead, and they're up by 10 points. And now for the final category, the overall combined quality of coasters at each park. And after doing the math, both parks got 7.5, and Great America is now up 119 to 109 on Kings Island. And the winner is Six Flags Great America. Congratulations, you have defeated Kings Island in terms of roller coaster collection. If this was more of a true amusement park battle where you had like flat rides and overall cleanliness, beauty of the park, things like that, then I would prefer Kings Island. But based on the coaster collection, Great America's is a bit stronger as they have a lot more depth in their lineup, even though their only 10 out of 10 coaster is Raging Bull. So Six Flags now has the upper hand on Cedar Fair, 1-0. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more videos.